Oh,
Like we're good. I mean, I have funny origins about where my story came from. Um, okay, we are live. Can Why are we not showing streaming? I swear. There we go. Okay, we are live.
woo!
Such a workout. Okay. We have a few seconds of ads for us to kick around and kill time, and then Twitch will start sending streams to everybody's campaign pages, and we are good to go. Okay, I see us. We are officially on. Woo! Okay,
Woo!
we made it. So sorry we're late, everybody. That's entirely on me. I got stuck. I had about 20 minutes of slip of time between my previous event and this one, and that disappears real fast when you're going 3 miles an hour on the interstate. So I am so sorry. We are back though, and we're going to talk about cool Booktopia stuff. So, yay. Um, I am joined today. You know what? I'm going to let people introduce themselves because I'm going to grab a drink while they do. Claudia, you're on my top left, so I'm going to throw you under the bus and ask you to introduce yourself.
I am Claudia Blood, and I write science fiction and fantasy novels, sometimes a combination of the both. And I have the Relic Saga reimagined as my Booktopia project, where I'm doing hardcovers and recovering and getting some additional scenes and things like that inside of them. And art, like I have a thing for getting art as well. So
Yay,
who should I
art.
pass it to? Yay, art!
Oh, you get to pick your next victim.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, how about Anna?
I knew it. I knew you were going to pick me. Um, I am Anna McCluskey, and I typically write urban fantasy, but this book is like a little bit weird and different. This is actually like the first book I was ever going to write, or the first book I ever wrote. It was the first book I was going to publish, and then the pandemic hit, like right when I was getting ready to publish it, sort of. Like I was starting to get the ball rolling, and so like things went south and it just never happened, and so I'm really excited to be finally like publishing it now. It's like a weird book. It's like half cocktail recipes and half like these weird like dark humorous short stories. um it's a whole situation. Yeah.
I mean, I'm in for weird, dark stories and
Yeah, that's
recipes.
awesome.
Like, thank you. Yeah. So, all right, pick a victim.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Belinda because I like the name Belinda.
Awesome. Thanks, Anna. Well, I'm Belinda Crawford. I'm a science fiction and fantasy author. And I am launching my the first book in what was going to be a standalone, but is now a series because my editor whispered in my ear. And it is a science fiction thriller. Yeah, and we're launching a special edition with all the bling. So yeah, awesome.
We love bling. Bling's
Love
good.
Bling.
All right. Okay, JC.
Hi, I'm JC Spark. I write my series entry, my first book, written, finished, first book to publish, and it's science fiction, and it is a thriller, and it is kind of supernatural, and yeah. Um, Starting off with weird stuff. I have problems picking a genre, so I mixed everything in, which I think is cool, and made an actually good book. So, yeah.
And is this your debut novel? Am I remembering that correctly?
It is my debut novel,
Yes.
and it
Woo!
is called Dire Contact, and it is coming out in German and in English, and
Right.
it is also coming as an audiobook, and I hope I manage it will come for Christmas.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. There's a number of our Booktopia projects that are going to be delivered, yet this year in time for holiday gifting. And I'm like, I am so in awe of you people because that's not happening. I have booked my audiobook narrator for early 2025, so I feel very good about that. That's my accomplishment. So great. Okay, and thank you guys. I was super thirsty, so thanks for letting me chug some white tide. I was sliding in here under the wire. So we are supposed to talk tonight about weird story origins, and it sounds like we may have some varied interpretations of that. So does anybody have a burning desire to be the first one to tell us about your weird story origin, or do I get thrown under the bus this time since I threw somebody else under the bus last time? Oh, I
I
didn't
mean, I'll
introduce
go if
me.
no one else wants to, or you can go. Yeah, I'm all good.
No, I was only, I had you all introduce yourselves. I didn't say anything about me. I just, other than the fact that I'm the reason we're late. Hi, I'm Laura Van Arendonkbaugh, and my project in Booktopia is an epic fantasy duology, The Eyes of Mandrel, The Poet's Eye, and The Prince's Song. And yay, epic fantasy. There we go. That's me. Okay. So I'm sorry. Who did I cut off? Who was actually going to go?
You had to do intros first. Totally got it out of order. So I did volunteer to go first if you didn't want to pick on someone.
I mean, I will always love volunteers, and
Okay.
yes. So,
Instead of voluntold.
right.
Okay, so when this topic came out, what I was thinking of is, what the weirdest way that you got that seed of the story that you were working on and like
Yeah.
kind of how it came to fruition is what it meant to me. And so this Relic trilogy, I had this dream. How many writers come up with their, initial or their initial thing with the dream? And it was this weird, like, so I was this guy in a jungle and I'm like using my knife going across through the jungle and it's, hot and sticky Indiana Jones kind of thing. And all of a sudden there's this like alien technology that's all like crumbled and all the rest of it, right? And I'm like, okay, this could be kind of cool. So I go inside and inside there's this like platform and I decide to mess with these wires and all of a sudden like the whole thing lights up and an 80s aerobics instructor ends up in the middle of this platform like all Terminator, like remember that Terminator sign, and she comes up and like she had the blue pants on and the leg warmers and like the whole, I mean it was crazy, and he's like this whole like he's sweating and all messy and I'm like, oh, okay, like how, okay. This must go together somehow.
Are you a lucid dreamer? Like, are you aware that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, or do you just experience it and recall it?
I can be, yeah, at the end I can wake up and be like, oh, wait a minute. So I wish I was a better lucid dreamer, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was my story origin, and that's in
did
book
Terminator
2,
and the
because
fitness
of course
instructor get together, or what happened? Like,
they
can't leave us
do.
hanging
That
here.
ended up in book 2, where she came back, and it turns out there was this other dream that I had about this really smart scientist who created almost as fast as light travel, and her daughter dies the day that the thing is going live. She burns to death, sorry. But she blames herself and decides, as one does, to create time travel. And so now I've got my evil scientist over here and my 80s aerobics instructor on this distant jungle planet. All right, I got enough to make a story.
That's awesome. That's so good. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So everybody, I hope you're taking notes. Like we're gonna go in, get all these books. We're gonna get the Terminator, fitness instructor, time travel, sci fantasy series. Let's go. All right. Good. And Claudia, remind us the name of your project so everybody's got there to add to their notes.
It's Reimagine the Relic Saga.
And I actually, hold on. If I had time to organize, I was going to be dropping links into the chat. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can grab that. Yeah, let me just talk for a second while I see if I can make that happen.
So do you guys all like story origin with dreams? Is that kind of you do? Or is it like you see that thing and it just explodes in your head with story?
I have done that in the past, not with this story, but one of my first stories I started writing, it was a fantasy, and there was this crazy kind of academy kind of, you have to rush to the whatever it is at the center of the thing, and it was like got there and it was there was a cliff and there was a desert, and got there, it was like you pick it up, it's like yay. And that kind of gave me the idea for a different story. So yeah, but not this one.
Nice.
Okay, well, what are you working on? Where did yours come from?
Well, mine isn't quite as weird, I guess, as Claudia's, but I have a rather tragic obsession with East Asian TV, and which is a bit weird for me considering what I write, which is fairly dark. But I was watching a TV show, and
there's some dark East Asian TV. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
this one was not. It was more on the rom-com side.
Okay.
And watching it, and it was professional computer gamers and shenanigans. And I got to the end of it, and I'm like, well, they're all dudes apart from the heroine. We need more women in there, and let's do that. So I just decided to kind of, in my head, I started playing with it in my head, and it was like this professional gamer called Lucifer, who was female, and everyone got confused by the name, of course, and just creating havoc, and that was how that came along.
And
so, do you feel comfortable telling us the name of the show that kicked it off, or is that like, no, that's privileged information?
It's called no, absolutely. It's called Falling Into Your Smile. And it's very, don't if you watch Falling Into Your Smile, do not expect the same feels from Gamer, because you won't get them.
No. Is that a K-drama? I feel like I've heard that title.
It's a Chinese drama. It's on Netflix at the moment.
Okay. All right. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to find your link. Hold on. I'm working on it. I'm not very quick.
so with that name, like Lucifer, does she like really play it up and like,
Well, the funny thing is she's not actually called Lucifer in Gamer, because the Lucifer name was already taken by another character in another book. So she's called Samael, the Angel of Death. And yeah, I went with that. I rolled with it, and we got all the death imagery. So yeah, great.
Very cool.
I am so sorry. I'm taking a minute. There it is. I didn't have yours in the spreadsheet, so I'm grabbing it now off Booktopia's thing. So we're working. Hold on. I'm not very fast. Okay.
Faster than we are as we just sit here.
All right, there we go. Yeah, the ones that were in the spreadsheet, I'm copy pasting. This one I had to go look for, so I'm so sorry. There we go. Okay, we are moving on. I need like multiple me's to be doing things in the back. Mods. No, I don't know. Okay.
Cloning.
So, JC, yours has a really interesting inciting incident. So, was that something that was inspired by, I hope not, your actual life experience, or where did your story idea come from?
No, actually, it was not. It was something that didn't exist in the original idea of the story. So back in end of 2019, I had this idea for a story or a snippet of a story. I wrote something that was a piece of a short story, I think. And it was some kind of being coming into existence and not knowing why that happened and who it is and what happened before, and it is falling and landing, and then later there is a scene where this being picks a human to, difficult not to spoil, picks a chosen one. Let's put it like that. So that was the origin of the story. But then yeah, COVID hit and all my plans went out of the window. And at the end of last year, I picked it up again because my wife told me she wants to read the story. So I had to write it. And I outlined the story. And when the outline was done, I realized this can't be one book. I calculated over 1,000 pages. And yeah, so I divided it into 3 books and thought I write a trilogy. Then I had an idea to create an RPG some years ago. So I'm having a board game shop and gaming is my thing. So I wanted to create this RPG and had set up an interesting kind of magic system, and all of a sudden this integrates into my book world. So now I had, and it all fall into place, and I had a new sub-series. And I knew exactly it will start after book 4 because I know what happens in book 4, because now I know it's not a trilogy. There is something behind. And we have to find out what happened at the start. And then the characters developed, and at the moment I have 3 series planned that will develop out of the original trilogy. And the inciting incident, the interesting bit you were referring to, is that there is this boy, and one evening he witnesses a strange guy disintegrating right in front of him, and he is so disturbed by this, and this is having such an impact on his life that he dedicates his life to find out what happened. And he becomes a physicist and kind of obsessed with this strange phenomena, and he's hunting them all over the country. And yeah, what was the question? this is
we went on a word journey. It was fine. We were good. So it's good. And yeah, sorry, I was chatting a little bit with Anna, who's having some tech difficulties, but I think is about to rejoin us. I hope so. We'll hope that she gets back in and can talk to us about the exciting story origin for their project. But I had to have Dire Contact, the project link in the chat, and Gamers project link in the chat, and the Relics project link in the chat. So if anybody's interested in those, we can find them. Oh, we have an Anna. Hi. Can you unmute for a second and let me make sure that we have you all the way?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can we throw you under the bus and ask you to talk about what inspired your story? Oh, you are muted again.
Am I good now?
Yes.
Yes. Yay! Okay, so yes, my book, so basically, like, I used to be a bartender, right? Like in my 20s when I was, young and wild, and now I'm older and wild. But I just like really loved like making drinks, and I really hated like dealing with drunk people. And so I stopped bartending, but I always missed the whole like making drinks thing and like coming up with recipes, and like somebody just coming up to me and going, I want something purple. And I'm going, all right, I'll make you something purple, like, and so I just decided I was going to write this book of cocktail recipes. But then I was also writing a lot of short stories at the time. Like I had just joined this writing group. And so I was like, gonna start writing a book, and I was gonna publish it, and I was gonna be a real author. It was gonna be great. And so I started like thinking about how can I connect these two. And so I basically made a list of 15 like weird, like kind of macabre titles for these like short stories and cocktail recipes. So each title has one of each. Like it's not specifically a cocktail recipe book or specifically an anthology. It's like each of them is equally important, but there's one called The Bloody Unicorn, which is kind of the eponymous story because the book is called The Bloody Unicorn and Other Delightfully Dark Drinks. And then there's, like the Eye Gouger and the Witch's Flame and the Reaper's Scythe and like all of these kind of weird, sort of supernatural, dark kind of titles. And so I came up with all the titles, and then I came up with all the drinks and all the stories kind of separately, and then I just kind of pushed them together. And I really wanted to have like, these beautiful, like full color photos of the drinks, because that's what I think of when I think of like a cocktail recipe book. But at the time, like all of the research I was doing showed that like print on demand color was like terrible quality. So I was like, okay, what can I do instead? So I was like, I'm gonna have it illustrated in black and white. And so I like found an illustrator. She was not like a professional illustrator. She was just like somebody who did art, and like, but I liked her style and whatever. And so she was going to illustrate it in black and white, and I was going to make this book. It was going to be great. And then the pandemic hit, and like she just kind of took it really hard, like a lot of us did. Like, I'm not blaming her or anything like that, but then like she also had some like weird life stuff happen, like something to do with like somebody going to prison, not her, but like somebody close to her, like falsely accused of something. I don't even know. It was like a whole big thing. So the book kind of got pushed aside, and I have since published like 8 other books, and I have like another series that I'm working on now. But like when Booktopia happened, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do the cocktail book. And so there was this other artist who I'd been like talking to at like markets that we both did. There was this market in Oregon called the Market for the Strange. So it was all like weird stuff. And so like we both would do the market, and like we always talked about doing some kind of collaboration. So I was like, hey, Summer, you're a professional artist. Let's do this. And so she started working on the illustrations, and then I realized, I have other friends who are doing these amazing color print on demand books, and I was like, I can totally do photos of the cocktails too. So I'm kind of glad that like it didn't happen when I first wanted it to, because now it's going to be such an amazing book. It's going to have these illustrations, and she's actually doing little pops of color in the illustrations. Plus, I'm going to have the photos of the drinks, and I'm going to get like right now is like perfect timing because I'm going to get a bunch of like cheap like Halloween decorations and just stage the drinks with like skulls and stuff. So yeah, that's my story.
No, that's great. I too had a pandemic era recipe book project because my friends and I, to stay sane, we would meet outdoors, and we made a s'more recipe book of well over 100 s'more recipes that you've never considered, and did the whole photography, staging thing and everything, and it was enormous fun. And I think we've sold like maybe 12 of those now, but but we had an absolute blast doing it. So I totally hear where you're coming from on that. Well, I'm excited. I barely drink, but I do love drinks with good theme names. Like, I don't need to drink it. I'll watch somebody else drink it, but that makes me really happy. So yeah. Okay, well, I've got the Bloody Unicorn and Other Delightfully Dark Drinks is linked in the chat, so we can find that if we want. And my story's origin story is ridiculous, but I'm glad Belinda's here for moral support because it also starts with Asian media, which is I was sitting in a hotel room one night at just killing time in the evening of a conference. And for whatever reason, my brain decided, what if I took this protagonist set from one of my favorite 1990s anime and the antagonist set from a different set of 1990s anime and put them together in the same story and made them deal with each other. And at this point, I would say, like, the average person is never going to recognize the source material, but I know it's there and I'm going to share it with you. I don't know if anybody... I didn't have time to prep my stream because I rolled in here late, right? So you get to see it on my phone. Don't know if anybody remembers Slayers. Slayers was it was a light novel series turned into anime, turned everything, but it was a loving parody of high fantasy And it was such a good parody. It wrapped around to being excellent on its own. It's got fantastic world building and all the things, but it is very definitely tongue firmly in cheek. So I took protagonist from Slayers and the antagonist from Sayuki, and here we are. So that, yeah, it's like I said, the average person's never going to recognize the source material, but I know it was there. So that's what that was. So, I should probably throw that link in the chat as well. Please hold. So that's it. And please work.
Typing and talking at the same time can be a little challenging.
I'm sorry?
Typing and talking at the same time can be just a little bit challenging.
I know, and especially when I didn't have time to get everything organized in advance, so anytime it sticks, I just panic right now. So that's what's happening. But anyway, so that's where the poet's eye came from, and yeah, there we go. So where was I going? I thought we were going to have a few more people come in and tell us too. We'd seen some chatter about weird places for stories to start, but since we have some time, if anybody wants to tell us about your other projects that are not necessarily in Booktopia, but I know we heard a couple of this also inspired. This also happened. I got a dream for this other book or something like that, and we can throw that in. We got time.
We're all like, who's going to go first? Belinda.
I'll go first. The book I had a dream about is still in the writing stage, but another one, which was already published, Demons and Battle Skirts, was inspired by Sailor Moon, but in a really weird way, because I was at a convention and we were selling books, and I'm across the aisle from this really cutesy Sailor Moon fan art. I hate cutesy. So I'm sitting there staring at it for the entire weekend, and I'm suddenly like, I can't stand it anymore. I have to write the dark, bloody version. And so I did. I started wrote kind of the first chapter sitting right there at my booth. And yeah, that was good fun.
That was nice. I like, there's too much pink. I need to quell it. Let me write some darkness right here. Yes.
The big eyes, yeah.
Yes. They're so large. There's no room for a prefrontal cortex in here. Yes. So ocular lobes are huge. Okay. That was good. I like it. Who else has a fun other version story? Yes.
Anna.
So it's not really so much that the origin of the story is weird. It's just that my kind of main series, Matilda Holiday, was supposed to just be one book, and it was going to be a standalone, and then it kind of evolved as they do. But I had the idea in, I want to say 2015 or something like that, and I wrote it all down and then just sort of abandoned it because life. And then, when I decided, I was going to be a real author, I returned to it and I wrote my whole, outline on what I kind of remembered from it. And then I started writing it, and everything kind of again changed. My general process is I write an outline and then immediately abandon it. And but I love having the outline, because you can go back to it if you get stuck, and you can go, oh wait, we were supposed to be over here. Oh my God. Okay, let's do that. But anyway, so I found the notebook. I was moving about 7 months ago. I was moving, and so I was packing up all my stuff, and I found the notebook, and I was paging through it, and I was like, oh my God, this is the storyline from Magic Today. And it was a completely different story. There was nothing. The only thing that it had in common was the character's name, one of the characters. It evolved to be two characters instead, two main characters and their twin sisters. But the character Maddie, that was the same. And then the fact that she went on a road trip from Portland to St. Louis, and that was the first thing that happened to her. That's it. Everything else was entirely different. And so I thought that was really funny. And then there's my other series, which was supposed to be a piece of flash fiction, and it is now 3 books and counting.
That's not how
but
flash
it was
fiction works. Like,
That's a long flash.
yeah, the books are novella. So, but yeah, it was based on like a prompt. I found this Tumblr account that was like writing prompts that don't suck, and I was like, that sounds helpful. And so I was like reading through them, and I found a prompt that had something to do with like a skeleton key. And so the first book of that series is called A Cursed Key and a Corkscrew. And yeah, so it's now 3 books, and I'm going to be writing a second story arc that's another 3 books next year. But it was supposed to be like 500 words.
yeah,
You missed.
Oops.
Yeah.
yeah. For those in the chat who don't follow like writerly challenges kinds of things, flash fiction on the long side is 1,000 words, which is it's a couple of pages. Sure. So yes, to get 3 books in is definitely doing flash fiction wrong, but it sounds like the best possible way. So excellent. Well, I will throw one of my previous series out, and it's going to actually be another anime reference now that I think about it. So I really do have other ideas. I'm just picking ones I like. But my Shard of Elan epic fantasy tetralogy. It's 4 books. It's like 500,000 words. It's ridiculously everything epic fantasy. And actually was inspired way back. There was a dating sim game that I never played, but I think you or maybe it wasn't quite. Maybe it's not actually technically a dating sim. I don't know. You're raising a kid and trying to. It doesn't sound like a dating sim now that I think about it. I never played this game, but anyway, it's. But then they made and there was an anime made from this game called Puchipura Yushi, and there is one aspect of that, I think, game and anime, I don't know, that then kicked off into the entire story, which is that there's a wizard with something more than somewhere between a familiar and a servant. But he's bound to serve this wizard, and that's it. That kicked off the whole thing in my ridiculous epic fantasy 500,000 words of whatever. But people really like the story, and I just don't tell them that it all came from like this ridiculous raise a child video game. So yeah, there we go.
I have something completely different. It's a story told in narrative lyrics. So I was originally planning to launch this just after Booktopia, but I really am not able to pull that off. So the book is called Delay, and it will be delayed, like everything that is in the book is about a delay of life and of relationship and of all the things that happen in life that delay you from being you. And what has to happen to change that? The book is a mixture of poetry and song lyrics, and it is written over 20 years. So I put it together to tell the story, and the book is kind of you have to turn it upside down when you reach the middle, because you have to flip your worldview and your life upside down and start to read it from the other side. So there's a lot of this kind of stuff going on, and I will launch in January. So
Nice.
and it will be
Kind
a very beautiful book. And I hope I can do all the beauty and all the bling for this book that I can't do for my sci-fi books. So yeah.
I mean, I would approve. Sci-fi can be pretty too, but yes, the lyrical poetry book sounds like a really great place to just go crazy and have all the beautiful stuff. So cool.
Nice. Okay, so I did have another book that came from a dream.
Hit us. Let's go.
Okay, so picture like urban fantasy, all these weird buildings together, and this human walking into work, and there's got like the big metal detector that you go through, and then another machine that he goes through, and he's thinking about his night, and he goes through this machine, and all of a sudden, all the alarms go off, and like the guards come and point guns at him, and the machine flashes, "You're no longer human," at him as he's standing there, and he's like, but I was last night. What happened? And that was the beginning of the Merge series, where post-apocalyptic kind of, he's
I'm,
a
I'm
human
in.
protection agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's out
Yeah.
now, so we could go find that.
Yes,
So
that's
okay,
out now.
okay,
Yep, it's
great.
got the fourth book coming out, I think in March, something like that. Yeah.
All right. So we've all got our add-ons now for everybody's projects. JC's will be out later, but everybody's we got our add-on projects for these for Booktopia. Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, we are closing on our time. I'm just going to leave it open if anybody has anything more they want to add or any. Is anybody doing a flash sale or anything? I didn't even ask these things beforehand. We had any special flash?
We're all looking at
rewards
each other
happening?
like, should we do a flash sale? Is this
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
a flash mob? Should we do it?
Yeah, I have never done a flash reward, but I know some people will do like book in the next 48 hours and this happens or kind of thing. But yeah, that's okay. We got stretch goals and all kinds of things going on. So I think my project right now is working on full color jackets for the special edition hardcovers. So we can have jackets and foil and all the cool things. So what are we stretch goaling out here, guys?
Mine is working on new character art.
That's right.
We're so close to the next character art, and I really want this character.
All right, go get character art. All right, is anybody else doing a stretch goal right now?
Character art, same thing. Yep. Anna.
I'm doing an extra gamer story.
Ooh.
Okay, so bonus content. Anna?
So like I mentioned that the book is illustrated, so like the whole point of crowdfunding it is so I can afford the illustrations. And so my stretch goals are basically however much we fund is going to determine how many illustrations I can do. So like right now she's done 2. If we reach my first stretch goal, which we're so close, less than $200 away, we can do 5 illustrations. If we get however more, like we'll do more. And I'm going to be honest, like I'm going to try and do as many as possible, even if we don't reach the stretch goals. Sure. But I think we have to like be able to afford it.
It'd be really nice to have that guaranteed in there. So yeah, you were $200 away. Let's go. So
exactly.
Yeah, I'm honestly like I'm excited. I want to see what your drinks are. When I was in my last time I was in Tokyo, I went to a themed vampire cafe because of course I did, and I dressed up for it and the whole thing. And they had the best drinks menu, and I told you I barely drink. I didn't care. Like this is my year's worth of alcohol I consumed in the single night because they had drinks named the Elizabeth Bathory and like all kinds of things. I was just having a great time. So yeah, that's gonna happen again. I'm going back in about 6 weeks, and that's going to happen again. So anyway, all that to say that everybody go get some stretch illustrations for Anna. Let's do this because I loved my themed drinks.
I do have a vampire drink in the book. It's called The Dead New Yorker, and so it's a vampire story. And then, the drink itself is a twist on a Manhattan, but it's got tart cherry juice to make it look more like blood.
Nice.
So
nice. Yeah. I'm the world's worst drinking buddy. Like I'll just sit and I'll be like, "That's beautiful. Have a good time. Tell me it tastes good." But I'm so into themed drink names, and it's just a weird thing I have. So yes, good. Dead New Yorker, good. We're gonna get more character art for Claudia and for JC, and Belinda, you just told me what your current stretch goal is. You just said this.
Extra content.
It's a bonus story.
Yeah,
like there's a whole bonus story. Yes.
Yeah.
We want more content. Yes. Okay.
I have something I want to thank one of my beta readers because something really special happened yesterday. I had this pledged years create a pet, and this pledged year got backed yesterday, so I will create a pet for my next two books with a backer, and I'm so happy with it, and I want to thank this one.
So this is
So
a pet character
thank you.
in the book that they
Yeah,
get
there
to
will
help
be
design. Oh,
a
cool.
pet character that will appear in book 2 and 3, and yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, all
And
right.
it is not a cat. We already have a cat. So.
Right. I was gonna say. I know we saw the cat when you on launch day. We had a sneak peek
Yeah.
at the cat. So yeah. This will be extra special, reader generated pet content. So.
Yeah,
Cool.
it will be pick the kind of pet, pick the name, pick the character, the behavior of the cat, the quirks of the cat.
Oh, I
The
hope she
pet,
picks
not the cat.
platypus.
So yeah, we
I
have
don't
already
know.
discussed which animal it will be. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Like this is set. Your book is set in near future, so I don't know where we are
Yeah.
with exotic pet laws. Like what's the platypus? What are the platypus regulations in Germany? I
We
don't actually know
we
this.
are at the U.S. East Coast. We are in the Boston Concord area.
Okay.
Boston might care. If you were a little bit further south, they wouldn't. But yeah, it's okay. Okay. Well, do we are not yet releasing. You said that the animal has been picked, but that is secret knowledge at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we will not be revealing. That will be book 2 reveal for next year's Booktopia. Tune in next time to find out the identity of the not platypus. Okay. All right. Okay. Anybody else have special news to share? Okay. No. All right. We're just gonna go. We're just gonna go support. We are in our countdown. We are in our final week of Booktopia. We have so many projects, and we have like 50 out of 59 funded. Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah.
Did we add any more new funding today? Nope, 50 out of 59. So woot, let's go. And then we'll have some more streams running tomorrow. So we'll see you then. So, okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.